Hello Internet, my name is still Mr. Anderson, still your host for Bazzle Spot Live, and this is actually being recorded before April Fool's Day as well, so I hope you've enjoyed the video that I put online. Hopefully you saw the funny side. I am not making fun of anyone, I'm not trying to insult anyone, just making a bit of, lighthearted fun about some things that people take too seriously, and I guess a bit of a satirical view on some people who, it's very obvious, only really make YouTube videos just to try and make some money as well. So, just making fun of, all that sort of stuff. So, all lighthearted and all the rest of it. But we are back on Battle Spot now, and we are going to do some more games. Now, the Battle Spot ladder has been reset. We're in a new season now. And so, here we go. Let's go back to this team. And so, we're basically neutral on the ladder, although I've done one game on this, so we're a little bit higher than that now. And you probably just saw, very briefly there, I have changed that Milotic slot. It is no longer the Milotic that I'm always moaning at. It is now a Drifblim, and, okay, so that's a bit more standard now, I guess, which, some people might turn their nose up, but I just feel like it's really, really fitting for this team, how it is. I've got Lele, so obviously I can, abuse the Unburden boost. It is a ground immunity, actually, as well, which is one thing that this team really did want for things like Garchomp. If I'm not taking Smeargle, then, I can burn things, and this Drifblim has got Disable on it too. Lele was a problem for the team. This is a Drifblim that can 2-hit KO pretty much, all Tapu Lele as well, which is quite nice. And Tailwind is also a nice option too, because Whimsicott were actually a bit of a problem for this team. At least now I can match Tailwinds and go from there too. So I'm actually really confident with this team. I actually do like this team quite a lot now. It's just a real shame, still a real shame that Europe had its international championship so early, because this is the team that I would be taking to a big tournament. I do think so. Again, hopefully I am aware that I sort of do like to stick with teams as well. So that's why I'm only doing 3 videos every week. I don't want to get you all sick of the same team over and over again. But we've got Raichu and Tapu Koko, which is not actually a combination of Pokemon that we see too often anymore. So how are we going to do this? Well, I'm going to go with these. Drifblim, I'm not sure is too important here. He hasn't got any Trick Room options on his team. So Araquanid does look a little bit out of place. But we'll go with Arcanine. So these are the same 4 that I took probably most of the time last week, or the week before. They're a very solid 4 together, so I like these. Not used to playing Tapu Koko and Raichu though, to be honest. I'm not leading with Lele because it is still Scarfed, and obviously I don't want him to just sort of lead with his 2 Electrics and keep his terrain up, so playing a little bit cautiously here. I have changed my circuitry just a little bit as well. Okay, so he does lead with Tapu Koko, but we've got Araquanid as well, which is indeed interesting. So, obviously the Araquanid is threatened by the Circuitry, but I do also have the option of withdrawing Circuitry into Tapu Lele and sporing the Araquanid. Now, if I do that, the next turn I can potentially, well I will, outspeed with my Scarf and potentially one-shot with Psychic onto the Tapu Koko, so that is a really tempting play to make. He might be tempted to bring in his Raichu here as well, so I've got 2 big options that I can do here. So which one would I like to do? First option obviously being like Fake Out and Tail Glow. So what are we going to do? I think I'm actually going to go for the second option. I'm going to go for a Spore into the Araquanid, and I'm going to withdraw the Circuitry into the Tapu Lele. I feel like this is a good option, because we're putting the Araquanid to sleep. We are potentially threatening the Koko with a one-shot on the next turn. We're getting rid of his terrain as well, just in case he did want to bring in his Raichu. Ooh, Dazzling Gleam. So no Thunderbolts. Get some chip damage on everything. And a Spore. Now, I do think that this Tapu Koko is choice specs. I do indeed think. So, okay, just looking at the damage on Smeargle, and it's not taking any Life Orb recoil or anything like that. Although I suppose I have changed my Smeargle spread a little bit, so I'm not 100% on that, but I'm not sure. Obviously, like I was saying, I do threaten the one-shot on the Tapu Koko, although he might be inclined to withdraw his Tapu Koko. Let's see what else he had in the back. He is potentially a his own Lele, maybe his Celesteela that might want to come in here. But I am just going to go for a follow me. I'm just going to play this really safely. I am tempted to try and go for a Spore into the Coco slot, thinking that he's not going to withdraw, but he doesn't know my Lele Scarf, and he doesn't know that this is potentially a one-shot either. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going for the follow me, just in case the Arcanine does get the 1 in 3 wake up and targets my Tapu Lele. I'd much rather the Smeargle go down than the Tapu Lele. But this Psychic does knock it out. Okay, so I was just thinking if it was a Choice Specs Tapu Koko, it might have had a bit of bulk invested into it. The Arachnid stays asleep, which is fantastic as well, and he's lost his terrain. He cannot get his terrain back now. Garchomp comes in, and okay. Again, I've got some options, because I can withdraw the Tapu Lele so that I can start Moonblasting that Garchomp. I could just go for a Wide Guard as well, though, if I think he's going to go for an Earthquake. His Arachnid wouldn't be taking too much from Earthquake, so he could do that. None of my Pokemon in the back really want to come in on this, though. So, I think Tapu Lele is actually quite important here. So, which one in the back is more important? The Xurkitree is more important because he's got the Arachnid there, so I'm going to go for a Wide Guard, and I'm going to put the Arcanine in place of the Tapu Lele. So he will know that I'm Scarfed now. Obviously I could just stay in with Lele and go for a Psychic into the Garchomp. It would do a nice chunk of damage, but I'm just wondering where the rest of the damage would come from if the Lele got knocked out that turn. So Intimidate is nice, Wide Guard is nice. He could obviously go for a Tectonic Rage. If he does that, then I know that you know, we're safe from Tectonic Rages in the future, and we can just keep Wide Guarding. So he's doing a little bit of damage to his Arachnid. I did think he might just do that. Arachnid has got a 50-50 chance to wake up here, though. If he does wake up, if it does knock out my Arcanine in one hit, that wouldn't be the end of the world, because I would get a free switch back into Tapu Lele, which might have been the nicer scenario there. But we are just in this scenario now, aren't we? So how are we going to play this? See, now Protect on Smeargle would be nice here, because I could just protect the Smeargle and wait for the Arachnid to wake up, which is waking up this turn. But let's have a look at his team. What are the chances of this Garchomp having the Z move on it? I think quite high, actually. So maybe this turn we just go for we're going to go for a Follow Me, just in case he does go for a Tectonic Rage, and we're going to Bulldoze here, just to bring the Garchomp to -1, and that would mean that I'm not so reliant on Tapu Lele in the future. I would be able to bring in my Xurkitree and okay, that's interesting. Arcanine's actually faster than his Garchomp, so his Garchomp is probably adamant and probably got quite a bit of bulk in it as well. So we are going to be losing, and he's just going for another Earthquake. Okay, so obviously my plan was he used Tectonic Rage and you know, before my Arcanine on my Follow Me, which would have been targeting my Arcanine, so it knocks out my Smeargle, and then the speed drops and all the rest of it too. But oh, good. So we're actually seeing it's actually the Arachnid that is deciding to use his Z move, and we're going to see this animation into nothing basically. So we have just lost both of our Pokemon, but it's not much of a problem. We have got the Xurkitree that threatens the Thingamabob, the Arachnid, and we've got the Tapu Lele, which threatens the Garchomp. Now, I say that it threatens the Garchomp. The way that he's just gone for Earthquake twice might suggest, and the way how you know, it was slower than the Arcanine, might suggest that he could be Assault Vested. You know, he's not Scarfed, is he? And we, you know, are we going to try and judge the damage on Arachnid through his Earthquake if it's banned or not? I don't think he's banned, so he might actually be Assault Vested. So I'm not sure a Moonblast will knock his Garchomp out from here. But then again, he's at -1, and an Earthquake won't knock out my Xurkitree either. So I think I am actually safe. Just going for a Thunderbolt into the Arachnid, and going for a Moonblast into the Garchomp. I think we should be safe, even if the Garchomp survives. It is at -1. Xurkitree is pretty bulky. It can take an Earthquake, especially at -1. I suppose, you know, worst case scenario, I don't know, he swaps the Garchomp into a Celesteela, and yeah, I'm not sure that anything too bad could go on there. just because we have got the circuitry, unless I suppose he critical hits the circuitry here. I reckon it does go down. I'm expecting an earthquake, but like I'm saying, you know, he's at -1. We should be okay here. Circuitry gets the beast boost, so we'll see what his last Pokemon is, and we'll go from there, won't we? So, yeah, both our Pokemon indeed do survive. Circuitry gets his Citrus Berry as well, so it looks like Circuitry might actually survive another earthquake. It took, what, 108 damage, was that? And I think we're above 108 now, so yeah, we probably can take another earthquake. As you can see, it is actually sunny here in the United Kingdom. The sun keeps on sort of coming and going and making my screen look a bit funny there. And yeah, we're just going to go for a Thunderbolt into the Celesteela and a Moonblast. We saw that it was Assault Vest, so it can't protect here. So just Moonblast and Thunderbolt. And the game is won. So no outing for Drifblim here. Just the original sort of core of 4 that we have been using. It's also, you know, I haven't commented on this just yet, but like I have been watching some people using this team, like this, you know, Xurkitree and Trevenant team on Showdown, like with a few changes and things as well. And I don't really know how to feel about that. Like, it's obviously flattering that people are using my team, and you know, nice to see the influence that I have on, you know, people playing. But you know, at the same time, it means that people are going to be even more prepared for this team, and okay, is that a Wakan Berry? That's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah. And are going to be a bit more prepared to play against it. But I suppose, you know, like I'm saying, there's no important tournaments coming up, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. So Wakan Berry actually meant that the Celesteela survived there, but it's not going to survive another one. And yeah, unless, I suppose, if it had Earthquake and it had lots of attack investment, maybe that's how we could have won there. But you know, Earthquake on Celesteela is not that common. We did see, you know, multiple other Pokemon that could have had Z moves. The Araquanid and the Raichu could have, the Koko could have as well. Although that might have been Specs too, but you know, we're over analysing this just a little bit, I think. And let's jump into another game. Let's see if we can start climbing this ladder. You know, I always intend to just sort of, you know, sit down and you know, just do some BattleSpot games for a while, just to try and climb the ladder, climb the rating on here a little bit, just to get some higher rated opponents. But the first guy was over 1,600. This guy's over, you know, is positive, at least too. So you know, it looks like they know what they're doing at least. But this guy definitely has got a Trick Room option. He has got a Porygon too, so I do need to be a little bit more careful about this. Okay. At least he hasn't got Tapu Fini. He could have Taunt, and probably does have Taunt on the Persian though. So I have to keep that in mind. But I definitely do want to lead again with Smeargle here. Smeargle, and see, Tapu Bulu is a little bit of a problem for this. So need to give that some respect. But we definitely want Smeargle here, and someone else. Let's have a think. Xurkitree is very tempting, but Tapu Lele is somewhat tempting as well. Although if he did do that, if I did do that, he could bring in his Bulu, and no, he wouldn't be able to. Now I'm thinking about like getting rid of my terrain and going for a Fake Out and a Trick Room on the same turn, but he hasn't got 3 Pokemon. So we'll go with Smeargle, and I think we will go with Xurkitree. Tapu Bulu is a problem, so Arcanine, and last slot, who do we want? I think, actually, let's go with Trevenant. Let's see Trevenant do some work. I'm just a little bit worried about his Arcanine as well, but if Xurkitree gets some boosts, or just one Tail Glow really, then I think we'll be fine. But again, something to consider. So hello, Mr. Orlando, who does indeed lead with Tapu Bulu. Yeah, that was something that I was a little bit concerned about. And now I remember why I wanted my Tapu Lele for that Persian. So we didn't bring the Tapu Lele, unfortunately, but let's see what we can do here. I brought Arcanine and Trevenant, didn't I? Yeah, Lele would have been nice. Okay, so he might not go for a fake out, just fearing my potential Tapu Lele switch in. But I'm not sure what the chances of that are. I mean, he could just fake out my Smeargle, you know, not fearing the Tapu Lele, and just would hammer my circuitry, and that obviously would not be very good either. But I'm going to say that he's not going to do that, and I'm going to risk this now. I'm just going to go for a Tail Glow here. If he parting shots on my circuitry, then I will still be just at +2, which is still reasonable. But he does go straight for the fake out. And is he going to go for the Wood Hammer, or is he going to try and be cheeky and go for something like a substitute here? He does, yeah, he does go for a substitute there. So, okay, so my suspicion was right, that he didn't just go straight for the attack. But my suspicion was also incorrect in that he did go for the fake out. So at least now we can go for a Follow Me. Persian can't knock out Smeargle in one hit. And we can go for a Follow Me and a Dazzling Gleam. But what could he have in the back that he could bring in on a Dazzling Gleam? Probably the Magnezone, but also potentially the Arcanine. So I think I don't really have any options here. I've got to go for the Follow Me. He might protect his Tapu Bulu here just to keep his substitute as he gets a free switch into something else. I'm considering going for a Thunderbolt onto the Persian, but I do think that we need to get rid of this substitute here. Persian, you know, if it is... Oh, so he does. Okay. So this is where a Thunderbolt into the Persian slot would have been the correct play. I'm expecting a parting shot here, though. Into either the Magnezone or... Oh, okay. Into the Magnezone or the Arcanine, but he just taunts me, which is okay. That's a fair enough play. I don't mind that. Quite smart, though, because obviously the Tapu Bulu has still got his substitute intact. I can't go for a Follow Me the next turn. Circuitry is still very threatening here, though, and there's not really anything that can stop me just protecting Circuitry and switching into my Arcanine now, which would obviously threaten the Tapu Bulu, but we'll have to see if he predicts this next turn. Okay, so it's Porygon 2 actually coming in next. So maybe he is trying to go for his Trick Room here, which is what I am suspecting. So I'm going to actually bring in my Trevenant, I think. And I mean, I can't stop him here. Smeargle in the back is nice for extra follow me's and extra spores and stuff, just to stall out his Trick Room. It is obviously tempting to you know, keep Smeargle in for one more turn for the grassy terrain to bring me back up to the Sash, but I would struggle. I wouldn't keep the Sash. Arcanine isn't going to be able to intimidate the Tapu Bulu, so I am going to bring in Trevenant, and I'm unfortunately going to be losing my circuitry here, I think, but I am going to be breaking the substitute, and I'm going to be getting a decent chipper damage onto the Porygon 2, just in case. But we'll see if Trevenant can do some work here, because at the beginning of the game I was thinking that I should have brought in the... it was Grassy MZ, okay. I should have brought in the Tapu Lele instead of the Trevenant, but it looks like we're in the position now where he is getting Trick Room, and maybe Trevenant can do some work for us. It is Woodhammer, bound to be into... Okay. Alright, well that does a lot of damage. That's a critical hit in grassy terrain. Ouch. And here's a Trick Room, yeah. So, yeah, so like I was saying just the turn before, I was saying that I didn't mind him taunting my Smeargle, because the next turn I could just protect the circuitry, and I could switch the Smeargle out, and I'm sure I said, but he could predict that, and that is exactly what he did do. He thought that I would protect my circuitry there, and I guess I was fine with my circuitry going down there, because it meant I would get a free switch into my Arcanine, which obviously would threaten both of these two. Problem with that would be if he did have his thingy in the back, the Araquanid. Trevenant, who do you think's faster? We should have paid attention to the grass turns there. Who's faster, Trevenant or Tapu Bulu? Because I could actually go for a Forest Curse into my circuitry so that it resists his big grass attacks. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Obviously it does make me weak to Ice Beam, but I'm going to do this. And I'm going to Thunderbolt into the Porygon as well. Hoping that my Trevenant is faster in Trick Room, but it's not. So we are going to be losing both of my Pokemon here. So, oh, or not. So again, he thought that I would protect with my Xurkitree there. So at this point, he was probably thinking, why is this guy not protecting his Xurkitree? Why is he playing so recklessly? That does do a lot of damage to the Porygon, but unfortunately, it doesn't knock it out. I was thinking about going for a Dazzling Gleam there. If I had, obviously, it would have been really nice because it would have kept him away from a substitute. But now I can just bring in my Smeargle again and go for a Follow Me. And an Ice Beam from that Porygon is not going to knock out my Smeargle. Can't fake out the Tapu Bulu. I think I do have to go for a Follow Me here. I can't just double protect either, which would be nice. But Follow Me. And Porygon doesn't have Taunt or anything like that. I do expect the Porygon to recover here, so I could, maybe expecting the Tapu Bulu to protect, I could go for a Thunderbolt into the Porygon, maybe knocking it out. But again, I'm going to play this a little bit safer this turn. I've been quite reckless with my Xurkitree, just not protecting in front of turns where it could have been knocked out by his Tapu Bulu. But yeah, you see what I mean. Like at the beginning of this game on Team Preview, I did say that Tapu Bulu could be an issue for this team. And yeah, there's the recover. I will be losing my Smeargle here, but at least we're going to get an Intimidate onto the... ooh, it's a Horn Leech actually. Okay, I still knocked the Smeargle out. But we're going to get an Intimidate onto the Tapu Bulu. And how much is he recovering here? Quite a lot actually. And we're getting rid of his substitute. So, ooh, we might be quite close to the end of grass turns as well, which would be really nice, because it would mean that a Wood Hammer, I'm not sure if a Wood Hammer would knock out the Xurkitree or not. But are grass turns ending here? They do, yes. My grassy sense was tingling there. So, in comes Arcanine. We still don't know what his last Pokemon is, but assuming it's a Araquanid, Xurkitree is really important here. So I was playing very recklessly with Xurkitree those few turns. How many turns to Trick Room? Is this the last turn? No, we've got 2 more turns to Trick Room actually. So he's intimidated. And the grassy terrain is gone. So a Wood Hammer might not knock out my Xurkitree, but a double target might do. So I've got options here. I can, Inferno Overdrive into the Tapu Bulu and protect, or just attack. And I think I'm just going to attack here. I'm going to Inferno Overdrive into the Tapu Bulu, and I'm actually going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. I'm not protecting here, just because I'm a little bit worried about him potentially bringing in Araquanid on my protected turn, and then I wouldn't be able to protect the next turn. And he's not used a Z move yet, I don't think. And here it is. And once again, I've completely forgotten that even though I frisked his Bloom Doom item, I completely forgot that he had this. So I think this is still going to knock him out. He's at -1. Xurkitree is still pretty bulky, but we'll see, actually. I'm curious. No, fantastic. Xurkitree survives, which is really good. Okay, so in hindsight, it would have been better to Thunderbolt the Porygon 2 there, because this is a massive waste of Inferno Overdrive, but we can just double protect the next turn. And yeah, this was a bit of a waste of a Z move, actually, because if we do double protect on the next turn, assuming it is a Araquanid that he's got in the back, I don't know if a Thunderbolt at plus, are we at +3 or at +4? A Thunderbolt and a Flare Blitz will knock out his Porygon from full health, because he could be at full health if he does recover on this last turn. It might just come down, it is a Araquanid, this might just come down to a 50-50 now. So I do want to protect here. He has used his Z move. He is going to recover with his Porygon though. But is he going to liquidate my Arcanine or my Xurkitree? Like, surely he has to the Xurkitree. So if I protect the Xurkitree, I get a Flare Blitz onto the Porygon. How many boosts has Xurkitree got? So it is at +4. Okay, I'm going to protect Xurkitree here then. And Like I'm thinking, this is just going to come down to a big mind game on this last turn, because a Thunderbolt and a Flare Blitz might knock the Porygon out. I think I was a little bit hasty going for the Inferno Overdrive there. Oh, he actually liquidates into the Arcanine, so he's making a little bit of a prediction there. But he does recover as expected. But now, does he protect his Araquanid? I think he has to, doesn't he? Ooh, would a Helping Hand? A Helping Hand? Now this is a question. Is a Helping Hand +4 Thunderbolt more powerful than just a +4 Thunderbolt and a Flare Blitz? I suppose there's 2 chances of a critical hit, isn't there? You know what? I'm going to go for the Helping Hand. I think a Helping Hand boosted +4 attack is more powerful than you know, just a normal one and another not weak but you know not powerful attack. And obviously I'm expecting his Araquanid to protect here, so we'll see. Here's a Helping Hand. Araquanid does protect. Now, does this knock his Porygon out? It's going to come down to this. Can we one-shot this Porygon too? Yes, we can. Haha, there we go. Arcanine's Helping Hand. How about that? Fantastic. I'm actually really glad about that because you know, I knew there was a reason why I wanted Helping Hand on this Arcanine, and it's just come out straight for us there. So, you know, no reason to you know, not use Helping Hand again now. We've already revealed it now. Yeah, that was actually really good, and I think we can assume that this is not a Focus Sash. Araquanid, although if it is, whoops, obviously, but yeah, there we go. So, how about that? Helping Hand, helping us win this game. Yeah, wow, Helping Hand +4 Thunderbolt. That is one powerful Porygon 2 one-shotting Thunderbolt. So, phew. Some reckless turns in that game, not protecting the Xurkitree. I suppose I thought that if the Xurkitree did go down, we would have had Arcanine threatening his Tapu Bulu. I think we would have still had the Smeargle in the back at that point as well. And the Trevenant too, which would have helped against the Araquanid, because obviously losing Xurkitree would have made us very weak to the Araquanid. But yeah, the critical hit, Hammer Arm did do a lot. Not Hammer Arm, Wood Hammer did a lot of damage to the Trevenant, and we unfortunately didn't get to do any Forest Curse either to make Xurkitree resist the Wood Hammers. But anyway, we've been going on, haven't we? So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Please like and share, and you know, obviously stuff like that helps my channel. So thanks, hope you've enjoyed it, and goodbye for now.